Our mission is to build trust on blockchain. And we do that with the power of our platform that sits at the center of our architecture with everything we do, and all our products are built on it. We achieve this for our customers with the power of the platform and the processes that we have built that lets us do reliable identification of real-world entities, helping you do investigations and prevent crime. I want to show you today how we are making that platform and the products built on it better. There are various advantages of using our platform, and our commitment to you are these 4 things. We will always provide you with unique and actionable insights that makes your life easier. Number 2, the trusted network that we are building between our data and our customers, everybody here, and then simplifying the complexity. This world, in the multi-chain world, as Michael was alluding to, is becoming more and more complex. And last but not the least, enterprise-grade products and support for your own peace of mind. So how do we do this? We actually collect a lot of data. Blockchain data, data coming from our customer network, and also a lot of data that we collect through our own automation and deep skill sets on the team. We take all that data and put that in our engine, and once that goes in our engine, we do all the way from simple heuristics to highly complex things, which is machine learning algorithms, pattern recognition, and a lot more to provide those insights for you on every daily basis. The scale of our data actually is incomparable to anything out there. Now, sometimes people say that your algorithms are as good as your data. Now, that data enables us to provide even more accurate insights because that gives us the largest amount of training data we have there. Our goal is to deliver all the intelligence to you at scale. And don't take my word for it. These are just 4 data points out there that tells you the breadth and the depth of our data. Number 1, our KYT product has seen over 10 trillion value transfers being registered and screened through our system. We have over 1 billion addresses that we've mapped to real-world entities. And if we look at all the blockchains that we support in mature asset, and we know a counterparty for 78% of the value transfer in USD. Now, if that is impressive, let me actually give you a concrete example. So Hydra is a darknet market that recently got sanctioned. And when it got sanctioned, we had about 6.6 million addresses associated with Hydra compared to 117 that were sanctioned. So if you see that thing, that basically means much more accurate insights and making the life more safe for you. Built on that data platform, we're always innovating and adding new products and services. And I'm very excited that you'll see a preview of one of our newest offerings called Chainalysis Playbook. This is a product release that's coming out in summer. Cryptocurrency businesses are at the center of an ecosystem, and we want to help them grow. And what better way to grow is to learn about your own customers and users. We launched Chainalysis Business Data last year, and quite a few of you have used it and given us feedback. We've taken all that feedback, and we're making it better with Chainalysis Playbook. With Playbook, we're enhancing the data businesses have about their customers by telling them what their customers are doing off their platform. So if they are buying an NFT or interacting with a competitor. I can't go in details today, but there is a track session for people who are live here to go and see an entire demo on this. It's later today, and there is also a customer, BlockFi, presenting us tomorrow in a lightning talk how they are leveraging this data. We are entering the world of DeFi, multi-chain, or we're already there. And we understand the complexities that they are there. And we want to make sure that we have you covered for all your AML risk requirements in this new world of DeFi. We've had solutions for protocol providers, traders, and developers. Chainalysis has a holistic way to evaluate risk for an entity because we can map all the addresses that are associated to an entity, giving you counterparty risk management, liquidity pool, and many others. And we are continuously making our solutions here stronger every day. Michael talked about the geopolitical advancements that are happening and the situations out there. Given that, we recently launched a free Sanctions API in Oracle in the last few months. What this does is it programmatically lets you test and filter out sanctions addresses. We've seen a huge demand. Since this launch happened in March and April, respectively, we've seen thousands of customers coming in and doing that sign up, and hundreds of them using it actively. People actually really want to be safe themselves. And if you like sanctions, you will love this, because with the address screening API, we go way beyond sanctions. We look at the risk of an entity, and then you can block those wallet addresses from interacting with your service. We have lots of customers using it, Rarible being an NFT marketplace, alongside others from DAOs, lending protocols, and gaming, who are leveraging this already. I touched on our second commitment, the trust network. And I think that's my favorite, because this is where we bring the people and the data together to make ourselves stronger. We have a unique opportunity with 750 of our customers helping each other make this industry more successful. And we've been doing this virtually, in person, through conferences like this. Most recently, back in January, we launched our community tab in our product. This was for commercial customers, and out of everybody who was involved, 30% of our customers have interacted and engaged with this, having really meaningful connections being built and conversations had. Just as a data point, 300 cases of stolen funds and scams were reported. That is you helping each other be more safe. What else can we ask for? Not only that, given the feedback and the success, we're going to elevate the community to a community hub coming to our products in the next few months, where you can even have deeper conversations. We know that our customers want to work with each other, you all want to work with each other, and we want to make it easier for you to do that. We talked about DeFi and NFT for the world of compliance and risk. But the reality is the entire world has changed from a single chain, single coin, to a multi-chain world. And that requires cross-chain analytics. Hence the theme of our thing. I'm going to show you a few things, and then Jacob is going to take us even further on this, because we want to solve it for you. And to stay ahead of this, our promise for all our stakeholders is to build on and promise that you understand every interaction on every chain. And how are we doing this? By 3 ways. New ways of representation, new clustering techniques as we go deep into these ecosystems, and personally excited about the features and products we build on top. Let's start with one of our recent announcements back in February. Chainalysis launched cross-chain investigations. 70% of our customers have used this feature since the launch in the last few months. Just tells you the demand out there. And quite a few of them are actually actively creating weekly graphs using this. Before this, it was not easy to show token swaps, which was a very common way of obfuscation in investigations. Now, you can display all your cross-chain data on a single graph. You can easily identify on-ramps and off-ramps. And last but not the least, you get a unified investigation view across DeFi, NFTs, ERC20s. Super exciting. In addition, we are expanding our ecosystem, our coverage, our data, making our data platform even better. The coverage we are making is on liquidity pools, lending protocols, yield aggregators, Oracle protocols. Just this past quarter, we took 140,000 addresses and mapped to these services. Now, you would say that accounts for 250 million transactions, but you're like, OK, that's great, big numbers, Pratima. Actually, what does that mean for me? What that means for you is you would get better DeFi investigations and also highly relevant alerts in KYT. But we're not stopping there. We're always looking at high throughput chain. And today, in Reactor, we are enabling Tron and Tether on Tron. So you would be able to do graphing and investigations. Somebody loves Tron in our mature asset support. And not only that, we're actively working on Solana, and that's going to be coming in coming quarters too. Now, if you found that exciting, you have to hold your breath, because we have been working hard on reimagining what blockchain intelligence look like in the world of smart contracts. And who better than Jacob Illum himself to show it to us? Jacob?
Here on stage to present to you one of the tools that we've been working on over the past couple of months, and or even longer than that. We're always committed to trying to make the investigations of blockchain even more simple than it is, because there's a lot of complexity out there, and the people of you who are engaged with that on a daily basis know that. And it's only getting harder, it's actually not getting easier, particularly with the invention of DeFis. We see NFTs, we see cross-chain, we see all this activity, and it's incredibly hard to figure out what is going on just at a glance. And that's what we're working at, trying to improve for you guys. And so back in the day when we started Chainalysis, that was back around the hack of Mt. Gox. And back then, everything was about simple peer-to-peer or point-to-point value transfers. And so that meant that you have one entity, they're sending value to another entity. And here we have it exemplified what that would look like with somebody was sending an NFT to somebody else, right? So you have one wallet that's sending an NFT to another wallet. This is simple. We can easily figure out what's going on right here. But over the past couple of years, with how prevalent smart contracts have gone and decentralization, like this complexity actually increases. So this is not really how NFTs are transferred today. Today, they are bought and sold on marketplaces like OpenSea. And so if we take a look at like what does that actually look like on the blockchain? Well, here you have a transaction where one of the same individual was involved in a sale of an NFT on OpenSea. And so you can see now what was before simple point-to-point value transfer is now more of a complex interaction between a number of entities. You can see that OpenSea got some Ethereum, and they took a cut off the sale and sent it to the seller, who then transferred the NFT to the buyer. Okay, it's all good. We can still figure out what's going on right here. But the complexity on smart contract-based blockchain is only increasing. And so the newest thing is the concept of composability. Composability means that due to the openness of smart contracts, you can build your own smart contracts utilizing other smart contracts. We see that with like aggregators around DEXs, and most recently we're starting to see aggregators around NFT platforms. And so what does that look like? Well, now you can use an aggregator like Gem to buy multiple NFTs across multiple not across multiple blockchains yet, I guess, but across multiple marketplaces for NFTs with a single transaction. So again, what we have here is a single transaction on the blockchain. You have one individual, the same wallet as before, and he's buying two NFTs on OpenSea, so there's basically two different transactions going on, and there's two cuts to OpenSea, and two NFTs are transferred. Still, this is one transaction. Now, this is all good. We can visualize this. We can make sense of it. But what happens if we want to tell the story of this one wallet that has been involved in all of these activities? So if we bring all of this together, we get something like this. Now, this is when the complexity starts to come in, because what is actually going on here? And it can be very hard to gauge. Like, what are the transactions? How many transactions are there? Take a guess, right? Is there 1, 2, 5, 10? I don't know. That could be a number of different transactions. So it's hard to gauge. Second one, you can't really leave anything out of this picture. Like, let's say you don't care about that the sales actually happen on OpenSea. You care about the NFT transfers. Well, take OpenSea out of this picture, and you basically lost the entire context. So you need something different. Lastly, when did these transactions occur? There's no chronology here telling you the story of like how urgent were these purchases. Were they spaced over a year? Were they spaced over a couple of months, or maybe even a couple of minutes? You can't tell. So we need something different. And that's why I'm very excited to be up here to present the newest tool that we have built to actually help simplify and visualize and investigate what's going on in these smart contract platforms. We call this tool Storyline. And so now I'm going to take you through and just delving into like, what do these transactions actually look like in our new tool? So the visualization is very different. And it looks something like this. So first of all, if you put in a transaction into our tool, we're going to immediately identify here on the left that this was an NFT transfer, a point-to-point transfer between two wallets. You see the wallets here at the top. It's the same wallets as before. And you have these asset lines indicating that this is regarding an NFT. So this is this NFT right here. You can see the ID. You can see with the polarity indicators who actually gained the NFT and who lost the NFT. So you have a negative polarity indicator, meaning this wallet lost this NFT, the other wallet gained that NFT. Now, what about if it's a sale on a marketplace? Again, put it into the tool. We'll immediately identify that this is actually a sale of an NFT on a marketplace. So we tell you that on the left. We give you the timestamp for when the transaction happened. And you can zoom into just the details you want around the wallets that you're interested in. So in this case here, we have the same wallet. From the perspective of that wallet, the outcome of that transaction was that he sold an NFT, right? The NFT was lost. You see the negative polarity indicator. And the positive polarity indicator shows that he gained Ethereum. So that's just from the perspective of the wallet. We'll dig into, you can introduce as much complexity as you want. Now, let's take the aggregator in the end. We immediately identified that transactions automatically is an aggregator sale of NFTs. And in this case, you can see that this was actually the person who bought the NFTs because he lost Ethereum and he gained a couple of NFTs. Now, again, it's just from the perspective of this wallet, but you can introduce more. What if you want to know who actually bought that second NFT? Well, you can bring in that wallet, and you can see that whoever bought an NFT actually, they lost Ethereum and they gained an NFT. Or maybe you care about that this happened on OpenSea. Well, you can introduce OpenSea and look at that. But notice how nothing else changes in your picture. So you can include or remove as many details as you want. But this is all great for visualization. But this tool is more than that. It's also an investigative tool of how do you actually make these processes of figuring out what's going on these platforms a lot simpler. And so let me take you through an actual live investigation on the tool. And so as with so many things today, it all starts with a tweet. And in this case right here, it's a tweet of somebody who was socially engineered on Discord. And as a result, they ended up giving up the private keys to their wallet, and they have a number of NFTs that were stolen from their wallet. So let's say we want to do that investigation. I'm not going to bring up the tool and kind of show you what that would look like. And so if you go through this chain of tweets here, you will find some of the transactions where the victim talks about where they had their NFT stolen. And so if we bring it up in our tool here, you can go and search that transaction. And when you do that, we're actually going to search multiple blockchains. It doesn't specify where that transaction happened, but we're going to search all of them. And you're going to be able to find that on any chain where it happened. So in this case right here, it popped up. We identified that it was a point-to-point transfer of an NFT. So you can see here the two wallets that were involved. Now, because we know that this was actually a case of someone who had NFTs stolen, we know that we have a victim and we have a suspect. So we can go up and edit the titles and bring up and say, OK, we got a victim on one side, and we got a suspect on the other side. Now, that's all good. So we know that somebody had an NFT and they were victimized on Discord. But what happened with the NFT? If you want to do an investigation, you want to figure out what happens next. What is it that the suspect is doing? And so what we can do with our tool is that we have brought a lot of shortcuts. You can go to that NFT and say, well, give me the next transactions where this NFT leaves this wallet. No need to go in and search through all the entire transaction history. If you do that, it brings this up. And again, you can see we automatically identified that this was a sale on an NFT marketplace. And again, it looks like it did before. You lost the NFT, you gained some wrapped Ethereum, right? It's basically just a conversion. Again, if you care about that this happened on OpenSea, you can go and look at the transaction details. So you can see this was an OpenSea sale, there was another party involved. But for the vast majority of your investigations, this doesn't really matter because this is just someone who bought that NFT. And so you can see here we hover and you can show like what the actual amounts were. Now, what would you do next in an investigation? You want to figure out what happens to that wrapped Ethereum. What did the suspect do? And again, we can go and search the next transaction. We can see there were a couple of transactions from this wallet, and we can just choose to bring in one of them. And let's bring in the first one. And here we see, we immediately identify that this was a swap. This was a decentralized swap using an aggregator. And he converted all of that wrapped Ethereum into DAI, so into a stable coin, which is something that we see all the time. Again, it doesn't tell you what aggregator it was or which liquidity pool was used, because again, to your investigation, this is probably largely irrelevant. But again, if you care about it, you can look in and say, well, he used MetaMask, and this happened on Uniswap. If you care about those details, bring them into your story. If not, leave them out. So what happens next? Well, we follow the money, right? So let's go and see where did this DAI actually go from here. So we bring in the next transaction. There was a couple of DAI transactions on this wallet. We'll just bring in one of them. We bring that in, and you can see that here there was actually a token transfer. So now there was a point-to-point transfer of this token out of the wallet. So the suspect now moved all the DAI out to this other wallet. What do? We follow the money. So let's go and take a look at what happened with this DAI. What happened next? We find a couple of transactions of DAI leaving this wallet. Let's bring in one of them. We'll bring in the first. And you immediately see that these funds were now transferred into an exchange. So now you actually found all the way from the suspect, following the NFT, becoming wrapped ETH, becoming DAI, and being deposited into an exchange. That's the part you were looking for in your investigation. Also, you notice here that there was actually a larger amount of DAI that was transferred into the exchange. 19,000 DAI, but only 3,400 came from this NFT sale. So what do we do here? Well, let's try to find out where the remaining DAI came from. So now you can do the opposite. We can go and take a look at, well, where did other DAI enter this wallet from? And you get a number of options here again. I'll bring in just one of these transactions just for reference. And if we pull that in, we can see, well, the same wallet received some DAI in a token transfer, 100,000 DAI even, from this wallet right here. We don't know anything about this wallet, so let's go find out more. What do? We follow the money. So let's follow it backwards. Where did this DAI come from? Let's bring in the previous transactions. There's a couple. We'll pick one of them just for this example. And here you can see we're starting to see an MO. Well, the funds here, again, we identify this was a swap on an aggregator. We don't care about which liquidity pool was used. We don't care about which aggregator it was. But we can see that it was 31, roughly, wrapped Ethereum that became DAI. What do? We follow the money. Let's figure out where that DAI came from. And what do we see here? There was an NFT sale. There was an NFT sale that actually brought these 31 wrapped Ethereum into the wallet, and it was by selling a Bored Ape Yacht Club. You can see the NFT ID right there. So now we're back to NFTs. And what do we do from here? I guess you got it by now. We follow the money, or we follow the NFT, and we're going to go backwards one more. Like, where did this come from? And when we do that, we identify that there was only one transfer of that NFT into the wallet over time. And we bring that into our investigation, and here we go. And you can see that was actually an NFT that came from our victim. So now we actually no longer probably have one suspect. We may have a couple of suspects that are in cahoots, and they deposited funds into the same cryptocurrency exchange in this case right here. So what you have here as a result is that you have an entire investigation that tells the entire story of what happened. You can see the chronology. You can see from the top transaction to the bottom, this whole process only took roughly an hour. So you got your chronology. You got just the parties that you wanted. You got the titles of everything that happened, and it's in one screenshot. Case closed. Well, maybe not. But there's probably more to investigate. But we can add our second suspect to this line right here, and we have the entire investigation captured in a single screenshot. Now, so this tool has clearly been built from the point of smart contract-based platforms, these complex transaction, composable transaction, but it's more than that. This works for any of the blockchains that you could be interested in. Other smart contract platforms like Tron, Solana, you name it. But also, you can also use it for UTXO-based platforms like Bitcoin, Litecoin, Bitcoin Cash if you choose. It wasn't built for that specifically, but it works for that as well if you want to tell a story and follow the money. And so we're going to have a booth outside today where right after this session, I guess, you can come out and talk to us, come out, talk to me, and I would happily show you more about how this tool can actually help you do your investigations or any kind of cryptocurrency work that you do that involves smart contract-based platforms. So come out, get the demo, sign up, and you can get early access to this tool if you're already a Chainalysis customer. But that's not the only thing that's happening out there. There's a lot more going on around our tools today. We got some track sessions later this afternoon where you can come and get more deeper dives into our tools. On the main stage here at 2 p.m., there's going to be even more in-depth work with the new Storyline tool that I just presented. And there's also going to be some track sessions tomorrow. So come join us for that. Come visit us outside at the demo zone. And yeah, thanks for having me.